How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. We are taking a look at a few different stocks today, really about 5 to 10 of them, because there's been some major news in the market. And I want to cover these stocks. And if you like any of these and you really want me to cover them more in depth, I might do that. So leave a comment in the comments below if you want me to cover any of these in more depth. But overall, the market has been down pretty significantly over the last few days, with Tuesday seeing about a 2 to 3% drop, depending on what market you're looking at. But the market is down really for the first time in a while, because it's been nothing but up recently, and we've had a few days that have been red. I want to cover some of the stocks that I think are of note right now, some stocks that I've talked about before, some stocks that I continuously talk about, but kind of give you my thoughts on them and just cover some of the updates. So if you guys like this kind of thing, let me know. I tend to not do this because these videos don't do as well, just covering a variety of different stocks, but I like doing it because there's a lot of news that happens in the stock market and I can't cover it all with a dedicated video. I still work a 40-hour week on top of this. So if you do like this kind of thing, please leave a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. And then too, if you want to support the channel in another way, you can sign up for either M1 Finance or for WeBull in the description below. Both of those are awesome brokerages and they have awesome accounts. M1 Finance is more geared towards long-term investors. You can buy fractional shares and have dividends reinvested continuously in that account. Or if you want to get some free stocks with WeBull by depositing $100, you can do that too. So definitely take a look at those. I appreciate it. And let's get into it. So as you can see here, the Dow was down almost 3% on the day on Tuesday. And there have been a significant number of different stocks that have, gone up and a significant amount that have gone down. So let's take a look at the first one here. And that's got to be Nikola Motors. We have to talk about it. It's up over 40% on the day. It was up higher than that partway through the day. It dropped back down a little bit towards the end. But they announced a huge bit of news that GM is taking an 11% equity position in them. And they are not just doing that, but GM is also going to supply their fuel cells for their upcoming semis. So this is huge news. The fact that GM not only took an equity stake in them, but also is going to help them produce these vehicles is huge for Nikola. It pushed the stock up significantly on the day. And a company that kind of got a little trickle-down effect from this and some other news was Workhorse. So Workhorse was up really significantly, about 25% partway through the day on Tuesday, and then came back down to end about 8% up on the day. I actually did a video on them last night, and I kind of talk about what happened in a little bit more depth, so definitely take a look at that video. I'll put it here, but it will also be at the end of the video, so you can take a look at that if you want. But they were up, I think, partly because of this deal with Nikola, the fact that the market is so hot that these big companies are now investing in these smaller EV startups, I think is good for Workhorse. I mean, they have a lot of potential, and hopefully they will, be able to get part of the USPS contract, and that will be huge for them. But then also, too, they had some news that one of the companies that they're invested in, which is actually Lordstown Motors, who is eventually going to be taken public by Diamond Peak Holdings, they got news that they had $2 billion in pre-orders. So this is something I covered in that video yesterday, too. But the Lordstown Motors pickup truck got $2 billion in pre-orders. That's huge. Diamond Peak, who is actually going to merge with that company, didn't actually see much of a price increase on Tuesday. They went up about 1% on the day, went down about 1% in aftermarket hours. They didn't see much from this, which is very odd because Workhorse did really well on the day. So I think Workhorse had a couple different things going for them, but this is kind of big news because Workhorse owns 10% in Lordstown. Lordstown is going to be taken public by DPHC. There is just a lot of buzz in this tech sector, in this EV sector, and I think it's really good for these kinds of companies. Now, one company that's in the EV sector that saw a terrible day on Tuesday is Tesla. So Tesla was down 21% and then about 5% after market hours. This is a company that I'm really considering buying more in because I've owned them before. Now, I have to remind myself kind of what they're at relative to what they used to be before they did their 5-to-1 stock split. And they are sitting about at $1,600 a share before they would have split. So what they're saying at now is about $320. So this is still about double what I bought Tesla for just a few months ago. But after a few days like this, where you see the stock price go down pretty significantly, it's easy to want to become an investor or to increase your position because they're down about 34%. By the time you're seeing this, maybe they're down even more. So I am considering buying more Tesla. Their battery day is coming up, so a lot of their technology is unveiled at Battery Day. A lot of people are thinking that they might have the 1,000,000-mile battery, which would be huge for them. That would push them into an area that they've never been in. That would be awesome for the company. And the real reason I believe that they're down right now is just because they weren't included in the S&P 500, which isn't great news, but I don't think it's worth pushing the stock down 34%. That being said, some other companies have been hit kind of hard too over the last couple of days, and one of them is one that I really like, and that's Facebook. So Facebook was down about 4% on Tuesday. They've been down over the last couple of days because they reached over 300 last week, and we have seen them go up from $150 a share all the way up to $300 a share in just a handful of months. I was able to buy Facebook when they were around 150, 170, again at 220. And I really want to invest more in this company. Whether they drop or not, I'm looking to invest more because I think that they have such a good future in front of them. They announced the news a couple weeks ago that they were going to integrate some new shops into their systems, into their Facebook app, and then also into Instagram. They're going to sell and help companies sell business to consumer on their platforms. Not only do I think this is great because they might be able to take a look at the profit potentially, but also I think ad sales are going to go up even more because companies are going to want to be able to put the ads right on the website so they can move straight from Facebook ads straight to Facebook Marketplace or Facebook Shops or whatever they're going to sell their products on. I think this is going to be great for the company. It's great for them just getting into e-commerce. And I think that they have just increased their revenue so much over the last couple of years and their net income. I really want to invest more money in them. They are my largest holding besides index funds, but I'd like to buy more. Now, a company that I haven't talked about recently that has had a great day on Tuesday is STNG. So they were up about 11%. This is one of the tanker companies, and they announced a new buyback program that they were going to buy back shares. This is big for the company. They have a lot of debt, but they're buying back shares. So a lot of people like to hear that. They went up about 12% on that day, on Tuesday. And this is just great for the company in general. I still own a little bit of STNG, but I would like to sell out of it soon because I feel like Facebook and some of these other companies are in such a good place. I'd really like to free up some capital and move it to those companies. Now, one company that I have talked about a lot in the history of this YouTube channel, but I sold just recently, is NAT. So Nordic American Tankers is a fan favorite, but they have been down significantly since I sold. So they were a company that went back and forth between $4 and $4.50. They announced really good earnings, and then they had no price movement. They actually fell right before the ex-dividend date, which I thought was a bad sign. I locked in my dividend from them. That was a pretty significant dividend, and then I sold them. So I sold them the day that I could as soon as possible. When we hit that ex-dividend date, I got the dividend, and then since then they've dropped pretty significantly. I sold them about $4.13. They're sitting at about $3.77 right now, and they dropped all the way down to $3.69. They were actually down a little bit lower intraday. But it was announced that one of their board members, the CEO's son, actually bought more shares of the company, which I think pushed the stock up a little bit. If you guys want me to cover this more in a separate video, I was actually planning on doing a separate video, but now I'm not sure because there's a lot of different stuff to cover in my videos. But let me know if you want that in the comments below. This is everything that's happening in the stock market that I really want to talk about today. Let me know if you like this format. Let me know if you want me to go in depth on any of these companies a little bit more. I'm not saying that I will because there's just a lot to cover these days, but I'll definitely consider it. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for hitting the like button and commenting, like I said, and then also for using those links down there. If you haven't already hit subscribe, please hit subscribe too. We are getting close to 7,500 subscribers. Maybe we've already hit that. Maybe we're getting close to 8,000 subscribers, but definitely hit that juicy red button down there and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.